Hey everybody, it's Steve,
Hey, it's Hassan.
It's Mike.
and we're here to talk about Rocket League on the Nintendo Switch. Alright guys, Rocket League is finally here for the Nintendo Switch. I know we have been waiting for a long time for this, hoping that Nintendo and Psyonix would announce this, and they did, and we've had our hands on it for a few weeks now. How would you guys like first initial impressions before we kind of dive into this whole game chat? What's your initial impressions there, Hassan?
I am enjoying it. I mean, it's Rocket League on the Switch. It's really, if you've played Rocket League before, it's exactly what you would expect. You know, there's obvious differences and stuff with different versions and so on, but it's Rocket League on the Switch, and I was just laying down on the sofa playing the game. Like, just that portability of it is so great.
Yeah, I agree. Mike, what do you think?
Actually, I absolutely love it, and it's coming from a PC player of it myself, so it's something I play on the go or something I sit and plop up on the TV without having to worry about launching another app on my computer and everything else.
Yeah. I think that's one of the coolest things about it is it's that game that we know and love, and you can just take it whenever, wherever. Like I was playing today in Starbucks, so I was just kind of chilling there, and I realized it's also a game that I get really into. Like like every time I go for like a shot or I'm like gonna hit someone or whatever, I'm like full body is into it, and I was like, people are probably watching me. What in the world is he playing right now? So we've always had a chance to play it on other systems before now. I've played it on the Xbox One and the PS4. Hudson, where have you played it on?
PS4.
PS4. And Mike, you said
Yeah.
PC. Is that
Primarily PC.
cool? So let's talk about the game just a little bit. Mike, how would you describe Rocket League for people that like maybe have no clue about it yet so far? How would you describe it?
Pretty simply, it's just playing soccer with cars. So the goal essentially is all the same. You hit the ball into the nets, try and stop the ball from going into the net, particularly your nets and not their nets, which I frequently do. So
Get home goals all the time. Yeah.
It sounds so easy, and yet it's not.
It's true. It's true. My wife and actually had seen me play it on the other systems several times, and one day she actually is like, this is like the perfect game for you, right? Because I really enjoy racing games. I enjoy soccer, so she's like, this is the perfect combination for you. I'm like, it kind of is actually. Hudson, like they've introduced different kinds of versions over time. What of all the different versions with the basketball, the traditional soccer, or the hockey, and then they have all those other ones. What's your favorite? You tend to keep going back to?
To be honest, I actually haven't tried the other versions. I kind of took a break for a while from playing the PS4 ever since the Switch came out, and I never went back to Rocket League much. And I was kind of holding out hope they would release it on the Switch so that I could get back to playing it. So I definitely want to go back and play some of the other versions. But the sock car, I guess as they call it, is kind of my stable.
Cool. You like 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 1-on-1? Where do you tend to find yourself?
Pretty much the 3-on-3 matches, because it gets more interesting having so many different cars racing around on the field.
Yeah, cool. Mike, what do you tend to find yourself playing?
I do a lot of competitive. I do dabble a bit in Rumble, but like competitive is where I typically stay.
Yeah. I do as well. Like I haven't tried competitive too much on the Switch because I'm still trying to kind of get my bearings, I guess, with the controls and stuff. Not that anything has really changed, but I was so comfortable with the PS4 controller and so comfortable with the Xbox controller, and so I didn't want to like jump in there and like really like just be horrible, I guess, on the Switch. So I'm kind of easing my way into the competitive scene. But I do find myself playing soccer probably more than anything else. The other ones are fun. Basketball is tough. Like it's just hard to score, especially if you're not good at aerial stuff, which I'm not the greatest at aerial. And for those of you guys that don't know, aerial is the times where you're just like flying through the air. So you have to use your jumps and your boosts enough to just kind of fly through the air. And there are amazing, talented Rocket League players out there that are awesome at doing aerial stuff, but I am not one of them. How are you guys at aerial games?
Terrible. Constantly just jumping and going right past the ball.
Mine's just slowly getting better. I have been practicing a lot on PC, but it's just I'll get good at it for like a few days, and I'll forget it all in the next week. So
Nice.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely do have to have a rhythm with this game. Like once you're kind of in the zone playing for a while, it's kind of almost like muscle memory, and you kind of just get into it. But then if you stop, it takes a while to kind of get back into it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it seems like, when I take a week between play sessions, I'm like, oh, okay, I got to relearn, and then 3 or 4 games into it, I'm like, okay, I'm in the zone. But yeah, if you take some time off, kind of first couple games, you're like, oh, sorry, teammates, I'm kind of sucking right now, but bear with me. So, what's it like so far compared to the PC version there, Mike? What's it compared to? Like, is it good enough? Is it
initially, when the game released, it was sort of a little bit buggy, a little bit slow. Like when you hit the ball into the goal, the FPS just dropped right off, and then it came back up. The recent patch yesterday actually fixed a lot of those issues, and I think it holds its own. It's not like that full 1080p experience, but it's still there. It holds. It has everything there. Nothing was compromised, at least.
Yeah.
In terms of that.
Yeah. What's that like the new patch? What they just do you know like the kind of the basics you want to talk about real quick? What they updated in this recent patch?
The basics in that sense was just like performance. So there's a lot of like odd bugs. So in portable mode, it was like really bad. But on docked, it was just as bad. But I've seen a lot of those other bugs just disappear.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's cool. Yeah, I didn't really notice as many bugs in mine. I mean they were probably there, but I think I was so excited to have have the game on my Switch that I kind of overlooked those, and I was just so excited to play it. Hudson, what's that compared to your experience with the PS4?
Yeah, I mean, I think initially when you first boot it up, you do kind of realize, yeah, okay, it doesn't look as pretty as the game on other systems. But then once you start playing, I noticed that once I got into a match, I didn't even think about that at all. I was just in the zone and kind of playing the game. So it really didn't make much of a difference. There's a couple little frame rate things that I had noticed like initially, but when I was recently playing in the matches themselves, I didn't really encounter any issues. When I first played, I mostly played docked, and then today I was just playing portable for a while, and it still felt pretty fluid. Nothing major.
Yeah, same here. I think the little bit the things that I did notice it seemed to be like they've been fixed in the recent patch, so which is really really cool. So online seems pretty smooth. I think one of the coolest things that I like about online is they've actually enabled you to play with friends and create parties and all that stuff. It seems like the full version that other people have. And for some reason, like all these other games have not been able to copy that. They're like, oh, we'll have to limit it on the Switch. But the Switch version of Rocket League is pretty much all there, which is pretty awesome to see that they didn't really hold back as much. The one thing that I didn't notice they held back on was they had the E-League competition like a week or so ago, big tournament, and they put on the main screen that it was happening, and even with a link to the Twitch. And it's like you can click here and see more information and watch it, and then you click it on on the Switch, and it says, "Oh, this can't be opened on your system." I was like, like the one thing that was missing. And it's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of just annoying, and it's more on Nintendo's side, I think, of things, not necessarily Psyonix. This is just the limitations of the Switch not being able to open up that Twitch link and be able to play if you wanted to watch the professional gamers on that the big tournament. So yeah. So if someone was going to jump into Rocket League for the first time, where do you think Switch is a way to go?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a good way to get into it, especially because the portable nature of the game really lends itself well to this. I think it's the perfect game to kind of pick up and play here and there. And if you really want to have dedicated long sessions to it, you certainly can. And of course, if you really are getting into it, then if you want later, you can, of course, buy it again for other consoles and get, better graphics and that sort of thing. And it'll translate pretty well to that, but definitely a nice way to pick up and play the title.
That's cool. Mike, do you agree?
Yeah, Uh, Pretty much. Like, I wouldn't even recommend the PC version for someone starting out. If they're playing it on, like, say my 2010 laptop, it's not going to run it as well as, say, the Nintendo Switch does. So
That's cool. That's good to know. Yeah, you get a system that's going to be able to put out the best graphics, the best performance that it can with what it's got because it's just made for that. But if people don't have like a high end PC, then they might experience a worse gaming experience than the Nintendo Switch actually. So one of the cool things that I like is that there is crossplay enabled online. So some of the times I don't know exactly who I'm playing or what they're playing on. I just know that they're from other systems because it says like Cynet as their profile image. So they could be playing on a PS4, they could be playing on PC, and I don't really know. But I think Xbox is the only one that has not enabled that. Is that right? Because Microsoft doesn't like to play with others.
It's the Sony
Or it's actually
side
Sony.
of it.
Okay, so it's Xbox and PC. So Sony's not playing nice with others. That's right.
Yeah.
But it is pretty cool to see that Nintendo has enabled that. And if I'm remembering correctly, I think Nintendo actually went after Psyonix to make sure this happened on the Nintendo Switch, which is pretty exciting. And I hope it's a good sign of more to come. Other games like that. So cool. So any other last thoughts about Rocket League on the Nintendo Switch? Any big things that people should know? Maybe like that stands out. You're like, it's actually kind of a negative point because we've talked a lot of positive points so far. Maybe there's anything negative out there.
Nothing immediately comes to mind with that, but I do also want to mention that there are like exclusive Nintendo cars, like the Mario and Luigi cars, and then the Samus one as well. I just unlocked the Samus one, so I haven't gotten to play it myself, but it's fun having the Mario one because then your boost effects, like the Mario car has like a little star, and everything. And so it's kind of cool how they added that little Nintendo touch to it. So at least if you're playing with others and you see those, at least those are coming from a Nintendo system. But it's definitely, a nice little touch to add into the game.
Yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about that. I'm wearing a Mario hat when I'm playing, and I totally forgot that the whole Nintendo stuff is there. It just it's natural to me now. I just thought it was on the game. But that is another really cool touch that you get the Mario and Luigi cars and the Samus car, and then the other toppers and stuff too, which is pretty awesome. Mike, anything other than the initial glitches a little bit, the frame rate stuff?
Not that I can think of. Probably if you're not like into something that's like super competitive, and that's part of what you mentioned earlier. You're really getting into Rocket League, so and it's just one of those games that's either you're like really into it or you're not. So
yeah,
I probably could see that as a little bit of a negative. So
yeah, and it's cool that they do have those options. It's similar to Splatoon and other competitive games online that you can hang out in the fun zone and just play for fun and not worry about that, or you can really get super competitive in it and even go professional with Rocket League, which is pretty awesome to have both of those experiences. And did either of you guys have the option to play local multiplayer with like another Switch at all? I didn't have that option because I don't know anybody that I could play like that.
No, I haven't tried. My wife has a Switch, but she doesn't have the game Rocket League, so I haven't been able to try.
I haven't. Really haven't seen anybody with it around here.
Yeah, so it's a cool thing that it does have. You can play that way, which other systems can't. You just created a local wireless network there with other people, and
Yeah, I mean, I just imagine going to like something like PAX and you're just kind of find somebody else. Oh, you're playing Rocket League, let's play. You just like set down the Switch with the kickstand, pull out your Joy-Cons, and boom, you're like playing multiplayer right there. It's just it's kind of cool.
It is really cool. So they're like those small. I think the small things that this version doesn't have. I think it kind of almost makes up for it with the additional things that the other systems don't have, just because of the nature of the Switch. So, yeah. So, well, thanks guys for joining us today for this. Join me today for this game chat. I think it's pretty safe to say that we do recommend Rocket League on the Nintendo Switch. We are big fans, and if you looking for people to play, make sure you look us up, and we can play online. Maybe we'll have some Nintendo Fuse game days for Rocket League sometime soon. Maybe a tournament or something. We can find enough people that want to jump in a tournament or something. That'd be cool to do sometime. But if you are new to Nintendo Fuse on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit that bell so you can be alerted to our new videos. We put out new videos pretty much every week. We have a podcast once a month. We put out these game chats where we talk about our games and kind of a discussion-based review like we've been doing so far with Rocket League. And we put out some interviews with other industry professionals as well in our industry talk. And then we have gameplay stuff and a whole bunch of other stuff on our channel. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button, and also recommend us to other people. So if you know someone else that really enjoys Nintendo, make sure you share it with them. Well, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.